Hello, everyone. This is Ken Johnson with the Four Seasons with Ken Johnson. So, in case you're wondering, this is a new show that I'm doing. And until it becomes more popular and becomes more feasible, I'm using a recording method that may seem archaic to some. I'm using Zoom. So, if the graphics don't look quite right or whatever, I'll be working on that as soon as popularity grows for this show. So please hit the like and subscribe button. That will be very critical in this process as we develop this show. So, what is the Four Seasons? Why did I give it that wonky name? And what will we be talking about? Okay, so my wife is a huge Brene Brown fan. She just loves Brene Brown. And Brene, she had a story about a time that she was doing a TED Talk. And they told her, said, expect C-level executives at this talk. And so she showed up in very common attire. She wasn't in a business suit or anything very professional. I mean, she's a very lovely lady, so I'm sure she looked marvelous, but she didn't feel that she was properly dressed when she got there, and everybody was in suits and ties and things of that nature. And she was very intimidated, and her friend pulled her to the side and said, well, didn't you realize I said that we was talking, C-level executives, CFO, CIO, COO, all those C terms that are used to display a high-ranking executive in a corporation, which Brene, she thought that instead of C as in the letter C, that they were actually talking about CSEA level, as in common people. And so my wife loved that. She thought it was a great story. And when I was telling my wife I want to do this and asking about a name, she came up with the idea of the Four Seasons. And the reason for that is that I write and lecture and do all sorts of things on what I call the four pillars. And each one of them starts with C. So I talk about culture, conflict, commerce, and conservation. So why do I call them the four C's? Because they cover every element of life. And so they're the four pillars of existence as we know it. So therefore, my wife, she came up with this idea of the Four Seasons. And as you can tell, this is going to be a very rough, very informal setting. I'm not going to have some young person's quick edits of snappy garbage or whatever. I'm not going to do that. I'm just going to talk to you as I would one of my friends. And you'll find out my friends have to endure with somebody very long-winded. I'm sorry about that. But I tend to study a lot and I tend to do a lot. And so I've done a lot as a result of that. And so one of the things I'll do, sorry about that, I dropped my notes, but one of the things that I will do is I will talk about my books because I write. And that allows me to meet all sorts of neat people because I'm doing interviews and things of that nature. So, I may be talking about doing an interview with the guy that actually wrote Battlestar Galactica, because his name is Ken Johnson. We're not the same person, but because I'm Ken Johnson, I had the audacity to ask him to interview me for a book. He's like, you know what? I normally turn down these types of interviews, but you're Ken Johnson and I'm Ken Johnson, so you must be a nice guy. So that is how we do things here. I'll talk about things and try to help you out. I served on a board of directors for Authors and Publishers Association. I have my own publishing company. I am a published author. So I've taught college classes. I've done just about everything you can imagine. And if I haven't done it, I probably know about it. Or I have resources to people that do know about it. Because I actually do have friends at NASA I've met a Scottish Baron. Like I said, you name it, I've done it. So the whole purpose of this, as I said, we're going to talk about the 4 C's. And I will try my best. I'm not going to promise, but I'm going to try my best that each month there will be a theme. So because October is upon us, because I'm taping this October 2021, October 5th. So therefore, what we'll do for October is we'll talk about my book, A Quick Guide to Archetypes and Allegory, and then we'll talk about the different types of archetypes. What is an archetype? We'll talk about allegory. What is an allegory? Why is this important? Proof. A lot of people say, "Oh, where's your proof?" Well, I give a ton of proof, and so I will discuss that proof and the reason why authors, short story writers, comic book writers, screenwriters, anybody that is in the storytelling profession needs to know about this because this is important. And I've talked to people all over the country about this, thankfully via Zoom because I don't do a lot of travel outside the country. But I have had the opportunity to talk about them and address these issues. And so the book, because of our internet connectivity now and the way that we're so connected with electronics, I've been able to touch a lot of people all over the globe. And so this is just another way for me to touch more people. So another thing that I'll do sometimes, like about mid-October, I'm a mediator. And I'm also trained in restorative justice, which I'll talk about restorative justice at a later date. And so if you know anything about mediators, that is a third party person that we help people with their conflicts. So at least weekly, if not daily, I am with people dealing with their issues. I'm working through their problems. And so midweek will be a holiday week for us mediators. And so the Supreme Court has already issued, the Supreme Court of Florida, that is, has already issued a very celebratory type of letter proclaiming this week and telling everybody thank you for everything that you do and how much we judges appreciate you and all that good stuff. So I will probably do a special Easter egg type of specialty broadcast about conflict resolution. There I may even talk a little bit about restorative justice. Next month, which will be November 2021, in case you're wondering, just to date these a little bit better. So what we'll do then in November, we'll talk about all things writing and publishing as an author. And again, that's where I explain where my experience comes in, and I'll try to help people as much as we can because November 1st starts National Novel Writing Month, or NaNoWriMo. So if you see that hashtag and you're like, what does that mean? It's National Novel Writing Month. And so I will talk about everything writing then. And again, in November, it is also National Native American Month. And I do talk about Native American culture. And I specifically talk about the Southeastern Woodlands tribes, and even more specifically the Cherokee, because that's where a lot of people claim their heritage. That's where I claim some of my heritage from. Native Americanism is an ethnicity now. It is not really a race. We're kind of like the Hispanics. So I will talk about that. I'll do a special episode. I may even do a thing where I show how to do a cornhusk doll. We'll see. So I'll try to keep it interesting. Don't expect anything that is predictable other than what I've already told you. But I hope it's fun. I hope it's entertaining. I hope it's insightful, informative. And if you happen to have any questions, just please below put it in the comments. What I'll do is I'll put down a list of questions that people have asked. And I may address those. I may do a special spot. I may actually take a time out from one of my shows and address those questions specifically. That's the beauty of this type of environment, that I have that ability to do that. And so I want to be reachable to my viewers, because that is something that a lot of authors are not, and they should be. A lot of authors have social anxiety issues, and a bunch of them are on medication. A ton of them are on medication, and it's really quite crazy. And I'm sure they feel that they're crazy because they're on medication, but they shouldn't, because that is a valid issue that a lot of people have in America, and it's hard for a lot of people to understand that. And so a lot of authors do the exact thing that they shouldn't be doing. Because of their issues, they stay away from people and they try to be reclusive. And unfortunately, authorship is a business, which is one of the C's that I talk about, commerce. And so if you retract from people, Amazon's not going to sell your books. Your publisher's not going to sell your books. You've got to do it. And the way you do it is you reach your readers and your buyers. And they're two different things, and I'll talk about that in the future. So what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to reach you. I'm trying to help you any way I can. If you got any ideas for the show that you're like, can you cover this topic? I'll either say yes or no. And if I can, I will. And if I can't, I may bring somebody on that can. So I'm open and I'm here for you. And I hope you like it. Please like and subscribe. Have a good day. Bye.